Today we are analyzing what I would describe as the pinnacle in Star Citizen racing. And that sounds a little weird considering it is, again, you guessed it, Osashis and myself battling it out as close as you can imagine during one of the live XGR race days. Now, before we get into dissecting our races section by section, first a little context. We are racing P52s. They are really fast, really maneuverable through atmosphere, and most importantly, they are tiny. This means that while working with Star Citizen's limited network tech, for the moment, the P52 is one of the most forgiving ships in terms of avoiding collisions with other racers. Because even if you do occupy almost the same space as another racer, you're so small that you'll likely miss each other. That's unless you've got a track practice down to the wire. As with any racing series, whether we're talking real life or sim racing, it all comes down to finding the optimal route through a track. Which lines to take, where to accelerate, where to brake, and in the case of Star Citizen, where to utilize your boost. Every little bit counts. For this race day, we utilized the same system we always do, 4 heats, and if you win a heat, you secure a spot in the Pro main race. Now this is heat number 1, everyone's in it. I'm starting on the far right side of the starting grid, made up by a randomized order. I'm at the top of your screen. Osashis started closer to the left, at the bottom of your screen. Alright, let's go. We're both lined up, everybody's lined up. Tension is building, and there we are, we're off. I'm gonna pause the video straight away and actually rewind and show you, if you take a close look at the boost bars, that we launch at almost identical paces. There is a very small difference. You'll notice it with the boost bar. My boost bar comes up ever so slightly quicker than Osashis's. And you'll think to yourself, okay, that's like nothing. Just remember this. We'll continue. Racers were instructed you could not turn until you reach the first metro loop. So we're all racing in a straight line. There's like 10 of us, 11 of us trying to avoid collisions. So we have to go in a straight line. From this moment on, we can turn. We're gonna slightly bank to the left. Remember, Osashis is closer to the left side. I am far to the right. So I start turning sharper and earlier to try and make up some room. We're gonna go through brake and snake. It looks like I arrive at the same time as Osashis. It looks like Osashis and I both exit at the same time. Neither of us can see each other. That's because the server kind of thinks we're in the same place. We'll be very close together. We go through a G-Lock Prime, up and over the Aspire Grant. I take a very tight line here, and Osashis stays a little bit wider. You can see that I'm riding the G-Lock there, and I do that on purpose. The big difference is that I used a little more boost than Osashis. On Osashis' screen, you could see me in view. That means that I'm slightly ahead, but he has more boost. We're taking the tightest line by going through this little hole. You don't have to, but it is the quickest way, so that's why we do it. Now comparing the view, there is nothing between us. We are in the same spot. But there I am, look on Osashis' screen, I'm right in front of him. We're taking the same lines. I'm a little lower than he is with a little bit more boost as we go through Kink Shame. Who's in the lead? You can see it on Osashis' screen. I am just in front of him, about less than 100 meters. He used a little bit more boost than I. He takes a tighter line. I go wide, which means that he has got less meters to cover to the next metro loop. This gives him the edge. He is pretty much in the lead right now. I never see him though. There is the element of latency as we go through and over the first metro loop. We're on our way to one step back. Take note of the boost bars. Again, we're using the same amount of boosts. It looks like I arrive a little bit before Osashis. This is where we both take very different lines. I pitch down to brake using the atmosphere. He stays and maintains altitude a little more. Again, Osashis with a little bit more boost preserved. This heat is 1 lap. You can see on my screen, Osashis flashing through the screen. That means on my mind, I'm thinking, oh damn, he is really close. We have to go between these buildings. We're neck and neck arriving. Looking at the boost bars, I have a little bit more. This is the final chance. It's a final chicane. We go through it left, right, and left again. I go very wide. This costs me time. Osashis catches up. And there it is. We arrive at the same freaking time. This is ridiculous. So on race day, we obviously asked who arrived first, and people said I arrived a couple of milliseconds faster. We had Salem report on the times, and I think it was about a 10th or a 100th of a second that was between us. It was literally nothing. Now remember what I told you about the boost bars at the start. If you compare the fact that my boost bar activated that tiny sliver of a second quicker than Osashis did, if you would take that away from his time at the finish line, he probably would have won. That's how close we are. It's insane. And so again, when you look through this footage, we'll just, put some snippets on screen here. You can see that we're basically occupying the same space pretty much all of the time. We have the lines down, we have the boost times down, and this is why Osashis and I, going through practice together, could never finish any laps together because we'd end up colliding or one of us was pushing too hard. So it was really cool to see how it played out on race day. I take the first heat, but seriously, it was by, I don't know, the hair on my head, let's say, and that is not a lot. Let's go to the final race then, the pro final race. It was the final 4 racers. We see myself, Osashis, Splen as a newcomer, and Bear Commando. This was a really exciting pro main race. Let's go straight into it. Again, I am at the top, and this time I am further to the left, and Osashis is to my right because I won the first heat. I qualified for that shorter line. All right, we're off, and this time our boosts activate at pretty much identical. I'm just to the left of him. He is just to the right of me. We're aiming for the same places. I'm on the left of the Metro Loop pillars. He is as well, but I go through, he goes through. We're basically occupying the same space here. I bank a little sharper. Osashis takes a slightly wider line. You can see on his screen my shadow. There I am right in front of him. I turn tight, but Osashis optimizes his speed better. He maintains his speed, and let's see who comes out first. It is absolutely Osashis. He is out of the break and snake quicker than I am. Takes a quicker line to the Aspire Grand as well. Let's see who arrives quicker. It is Osashis that arrives first. He takes a bit of a scary line there over the buildings. I take a tighter line, and that's why I come out on top. Look on his screen. You can see I'm blacking out, but he is actually right behind me. He's got more boost left, and he can use that on this back straight. And that's a key difference. The P52 can go incredibly fast when you are pausing the screen here. Just look at that. Again, we're just basically occupying the same space as we arrive at this Metro Loop pillar. We're both going for the same hole, just kind of expecting or accepting whatever happens. And it's by the luck of the draw that we're not colliding at this point. Even though we're in P52s, the server is, I want to say, very forgiving. There's a big chance that he is literally riding right behind me or just below me, or it could be meters between us. Let's continue. My boost bar runs out a fraction of a second quicker than Osashis because he maintained that little bit of extra. Oh, look at his screen. I'm right in front of him. That was ridiculous. Again, that's how close we are. You could see that we are taking the same lines through here, and I was meters away from his canopy. The fact that Osashis is able to concentrate through this, seeing my ship in front of him like that is ridiculous. Let's see who arrives faster. Again, it is Osashis, preserving more boost and taking a tighter line through here. I am wider and slower, and he's got more boost. This sets him up really nicely. We're arriving at the Metro Loop. We're going through. Osashis is tighter. I am a lot looser. He comes out first. I come out second. On my screen though, I'm thinking I'm in the lead. I don't see anybody. But we're probably next to each other or just below each other, and it's very hard to tell. I pitch down again to brake. Osashis uses more altitude. It looks like I overtook him again. I exit that Metro Loop before he does. However, less boost, and Osashis has more. And this will come into play when we make our way to the final straight, because this is a race of 4 laps, I should mention. I come out first, but I have less boost than Osashis. He comes out second. On our way to these buildings that we have to fly through. It looks like I'm in the clear lead at this point, even if only by a fraction. Osashis takes a little bit of a different line. Let's see who goes faster through this chicane. Again, I'm pretty slow, and Osashis just made up all the ground that I had gained. There he is in front of me, just flicking past my screen. Now I get a little lost. I'm actually turning to the right here because I can't find exactly where the apex is. Then I turn back to the left. This means I'm covering more meters across the frozen lakes of Microtech. There's Osashis, a good 300-400 meters in front of me now. This puts doubts in my mind. I'm thinking to myself, damn it, he is quicker. He is taking tighter lines and he is doing a better job. Let's see how we're going through Break and Snake. I'm pretty loose. Osashis again, very quick. Let's see who comes out first. Of course it is Osashis, and he actually opens the gap from 300 meters to 500 meters. I use more boost though because I'm obviously trying to squeeze closer to him, but look at my boost bar compared to his as we're pushing hard through G-Lock Prime. I actually come out first. He's got all the boost though and I have none. I'm riding the blackout, and there it is. We collide. Osashis doesn't see it, but he on the server collided with me. It finally happened, as it did in practice, as it did every time we raced together. We just end up colliding because we're in the same space. I was lucky to be able to continue because on my screen, client side, I guess, nothing happened. But it was, again, a collision that decided the fate of this race. And respect to Osashis, because this guy with minimal practice is incredibly fast and so talented. He obviously has real life motocross experience, which is incredibly beneficial in you know, setting the mentality of how to race. And he does really well. I got in a little bit more practice than he did. I want to say about a day more practice, and still it took me everything to stay ahead. But in reality, a lot of this pro main race, he was the one ahead. And I think if it wouldn't have been for the collision, it would have been very tight all the way till the end. If he would have gotten in front of me, I don't know if I would have been able to keep my cool, because for sure that pressure builds and adds up, and in the end that doesn't make your race any better. So very exciting. And again, I just want to say XGR Racing is the pinnacle of Star Citizen sim racing. You can't put it any other way. It's really cool to see newcomers like Splen joining us as well. Splen obviously holding most of the, if not all of the records on the Arena Commander racetracks. It's really cool to see him come race with us. He's already setting some top spots for primarily our vacuum space 0G races, and he's trying to tackle the Clio Snake Pit as well. So it's really cool to see him here, and I look forward to seeing more live races with him. Come and join us. We'll be coming up with probably a 0G race soon, and it will be Osashis and myself commentating that one. So thank you for sticking it out and watching through this one with me. It was incredibly tense, and what can I say? It is awesome to be racing against Osashis. So much fun to see ships racing this close together, and I'm hopeful for the future of Star Citizen that with all the new network tech coming, we can reduce latency a little bit and avoid the situation where one person might experience a crash while the other doesn't. Thanks for watching, Pilot, and I will see you out there in the verse.